We have now developed feeder strategy for Andromeda. And the reason why I believe this is such a massive breakthrough is because Andromeda by design does not allow for a ton of control for individual products or individual services to be grown outside of where the creative wants to go. So now we can say the big campaign can sell whatever it wants to whomever wants with whatever ads it wants. But if we want that campaign to shift from those type of products to these type of products, we now have that control. All right, so we're just going to jump right into it. Last year, we created feeder strategy for Google.
Right.
And it worked extremely well. It worked so well, actually, funny enough, that the AI inside of Google actually has a feeder strategy definition now. So what's funny is you go to Google, type in feeder strategy. It's like AI overview, feeder strategy in digital marketing, popularized by John Moran, a 2-tier campaign structure, lower cost, and all the other good stuff about it. And everybody that's all made videos about it and yada, yada, yada. It was like, what's the idea of feeder strategy? And this guy's like, oh, there's this guy out there named like John Moran, who's like developed this feeder strategy. It is like, it was the best thing for Google, still works today. And it's been fantastic. We have now developed feeder strategy for Andromeda. And the reason why I believe this is such a massive breakthrough is because Andromeda by design does not allow for a ton of control for individual products or individual services to be grown outside of where the creative wants to go. Mm-hmm. So it's kind of like, hey, if you give me 10 ads and I'm going to say this ad is the best and that's the one I'm going to run, you're like, okay, that works, but that's my my toe fungus product, but what about my plantar fasciitis product? And you're like, well, create new ads for that, add that in there and try that. Let's see how that works. Mm-hmm. What we now have is a way to cover all products with all creative everywhere, like a Performance Max main campaign, and then developed individual feeder campaigns like individual standard shopping campaigns in feeder in Google to steer the main campaign where we want it to go.
Okay.
So now we can say the big campaign can sell whatever it wants to whomever wants with whatever ads it wants. But if we want that campaign to shift from those type of products to these type of products, we now have that control. Plus like 50 other benefits that I didn't foresee, which I'm going to showcase now today. So I'm just going to dive right into it. We're going to go through it in its entirety, and it's going to be a lot of fun. So
I would be remiss if I did not tell you about our sponsor of today's show is Tier 11. Well, oddly enough, it's just to be called Tier 11 Live, but now it's the Tier 11 AdLab. By the way, I just Googled dog pile strategy. You rank for that too.
No shit.
Yeah. Just for shits and giggles.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So here's the special that we have going on right now. And this is literally like, we are getting rid of this at the end of the month because our gross profitability on this absolutely sucks. But we want people to be able to do this and do all the things that we're talking about here today. Obviously, we're going to talk about creative diversification, I assume, in this strategy. You haven't really told me what it is yet. And blue sky, blue math. The point is this, is that you can buy the creative diversification package, which is 30 creatives per month. Like, these are content creators. Like, we go out and we have a stable of 70 or 80 content creators. Like, if you've ever seen Tier 11 ads, you probably see our ads all the time. You don't really realize it. Like, these are some of the best content creators for UGC testimonials, all the sorts of things that we do on the video side, as well as all the other 9 or 8 or 9 different ad types that we have talked about on this show. You get all of that. You buy that package. That is a ton of stuff. Yep. And you get the media buying, and you get the Tier 11 data suite for free.
Nice.
So we are barely making any money off this. Like, that's the key, but that's not the key. That we can't keep it going any longer in December. So the prices are going to go up. So anyway, so check it out. I'm going to leave a link here on the banner below. I see a lot of people are already here asking questions, which is great. Unlock the creative diversification package. You get the media buying and the Tier 11 data suite absolutely for free. tier11.com/CD. So
cool.
You, John.
that was a perfect slip in. I'm like, we're gonna do the best strategy we've ever seen. And you're like, but wait, there's more. That was perfect.
That's right. Hey.
You should own a marketing company.
I should own a marketing company. I should. Great idea.
Right. All right. So we came from a campaign structure before where we had 3 different individual campaigns going after 3 individual product categories in our company.
Yep.
And one of the main ones here was our immune system. If you've been following us for some time, you know we have a company that sells, pet wellness products.
Yes.
But 90% of all of our sales were coming into our immune product. Now, we were struggling to get our other products, which we have a digestive, we have a joint, we have an oral care one. We have other products that we're able to sell in tandem with immune because we can upsell them as a bundle, but we really have not been able to grow the other products. And that was also due to the Andromeda framework, which is like, I'm a pixel. 80% of your activity is on immune. You give me something else, it has to be stronger than the 80% of my activity for me to change gears. And it just wasn't. Unfortunately, it was a brand new product to the company.
Right. Unless
So
you
we
like opened up
struggled.
a brand new ad account or did something like that, which you don't want to do.
Yeah, and you can, but then if you use the same pixel, now they're overlapping again, and it just blows up. So what we found out is like, hey, we have this campaign here, and this campaign is selling a whole bunch of new customers. But we're like, okay, we have 804 purchases, 560 are new, 511 are from immune. We're like, perfect. But this is the part that I think I missed in the unlock, and this is what literally set off feeder strategy was brilliant.
Yeah.
This is whether you have a click or a view, you show up here. So I saw that 80% of my spend, 90% of my spend, $12,000 a day had a lot of, hundreds of purchases or 50s purchases from our, like I got 30 new joint customers. I have 80 new digestive customers. So they were taking all of our users we were bringing to the site with these other products. And this was doing the targeting. Even though they've been excluded, they were still doing it. And that's what we found out. We're like, well, crap, it's just the nature of the beast.
And you're optimizing for a purchase immune new customer. So you're
Exactly
trying
right.
to get immune customers, but you're getting all these tangential customers as well, which is nice. I mean, but
80% of my spend's on immune, so I get 80% of my results on immune. That's
Exactly.
it. Unless you can spend somewhere else to get that product having much more activity, Meta doesn't care.
Yeah.
So it's like Meta won't sell it if it's not selling, and Meta will only sell what is selling. Well, how do you take what's not selling and make it sell so that Meta will sell it?
right.
I know
well, they're
it's
going to
not
take
weird.
that. Yeah. Well, no, it all makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, they're going to do whatever's easiest to get the conversion, really.
Exactly. So what I found out though is that no matter what we did, what we were showing all of these hundreds of people were being targeted with what? Immune.
Yeah.
So my digestive audience gets sucked up by this one and says, hey, interested in digestive? Here's immune. Oh, you're interested in oral? Here's immune. Oh, are you interested in joint? Here's immune. Okay, that didn't work. That's what was stopping this. So we said, well, what if we make an all products? Everything. We have immune, digestive, oral, joint, all that stuff is in the top campaign now. All of our ads are in that main campaign. So every single ad that we've ever ran that was good is now in that top campaign. And that top campaign is now purchase NC. New customers from anywhere. I'm happy. Sounds good. And then we did two unique things. One, we made 3 more campaigns also purchase NC. Why? Because I want these to overlap. I want feeder to overlap. And then I purposely leveraged the incorrect targeting attributions of whatever has highest amount of ad spend, whatever has highest amount of reach and impressions win. And I said, fine, you're going to take credit for everything. I will allow it. You know what? I want you to. You can have 7-day click, 1-day view, 1-day engage view. Everything else has to be stuck on a 7-day click. Why? I don't actually really want the attribution to come in here. I want the attribution to come up here because this has the highest amount of ad spend and has the highest propensity to scale because it's the biggest campaign.
Got it.
But now I can adjust the activity in that campaign by feeding it less or more of my other content. So my one campaign here of all products has all of my product ads, digestive, immune, joint, and then my individual campaigns, digestive just has digestive.
Just digestive.
Joint just has joint. You get it. So I said, you know what? Let me run my first test. Well, actually, before I do that, let me see how this actually has worked so far. Interestingly enough, our click-through rate has gone from 6.2 to 11.95. It went up 92%.
Jeez.
Why? Well, when the majority of our users used to be remarketed the $200,000 of only immune, about 5% of those people liked it. Why? Because those were 5% of the immune. The digestive, the joint, and the oral didn't give a crap.
Right.
It's not going to click on any of these ads. But when
Still
I
a good click-through rate.
exactly right.
Yeah.
But when I take that 200 grand and shift it up here and even scale it a bit to 248, look at my click-through rate.
Wow.
It went from 5 to 11. Why? Because now
a
my
parallelogram
digestive,
right there, by the way.
right? I know, right?
Yeah.
Thank you. I paid attention up to about second grade.
Oh, right. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So now my digestive, my joint, my oral, and my immune all can now be remarketed by my main campaign, which has digestive and oral and joint and immune. Okay, so that's cool. Now let's do this. Now let's run the second test. So we know we're hitting a way better audience. My CPC has now been cut down by 48% in my account, and we're spending $250,000 every 3 weeks, so it's a big deal.
Yeah.
But my CPMs did not change. They're 0.4. So same audience, we just now have 48% less cost per click and 92% better click-through rates. And so we're driving a massive amount of a ton more traffic. When that looks like here, just as a quick example, when we started this on the 16th here, so we have the 16th through yesterday compared to previous period, I do have an ad spend increase total in the account of 16%. But now my traffic inside of Facebook is up 171%. Holy crap.
Wow.
That's a massive unlock because now Meta says, I'm going to do whatever I want. I'm like, well, then I'm going to give you the ammunition to go convert whoever you want. Okay, that worked. So then we said, let's do this now. What if we took in this week, week 2 of after the launch, I say, you know what? I want to run a test. Everything's been running for about a week and everything seems hunky-dory. But I want to say, hey, all product campaign, I want you to start selling more joint products. So I'm going to give my joint campaign 57% more ad spend. 57% more ad spend. Now, the typical model of how did that 57% increase looks like crap. Went from 676 up to 2,600.
Right.
Oh, no, it didn't work. Well, that's
Right.
I don't care that the attribution doesn't come here. I don't want it to come here. So I made
like
a custom
the number above.
Right? Yeah, exactly. This is here.
Sorry.
No, that's good. And you caught on too, because what's interesting is if you look all the way over at this custom column over here called Purchase Joint NC, remember the 56% or remember the money that we put inside of joint? We put 57% more spend into joint.
Yep.
My main campaign sold joint new customers 61% more. And my report inside of here during this time period of the 23rd to the 29th compared to the previous period of the 16th to the 22, which is exactly matching this one here. My report shows that my new customers of my joint went from 23 to 35, a 60% increase in new customers at the top line. Wow.
Wow.
So now I have a big campaign that can sell anybody anything, but I can then steer it by saying, I need you to sell more new customers on joint. And I go crank this lever over here, and then boom, that goes up there because it's first click happy import. The actual attribution inside of Meta is real. And now this will actually start to sell more joint new customers and coming in at a very decent price. Now, real quick, we always measure top line. So when we're looking at our media tracker, we have an average NCAC of globally when we're spending $114,000 a week of $287. So let's do some back of the napkin math. If I go into Google or Meta here and I say, how much money did we spend on Meta? $1,956. So $1,956. How many, and I'm going to put that over to the side, go into the back end report and we look at here, how many new customers on joint? The only thing that we have marketing is joint inside of Meta. So it's the only thing that has attributable spend. So 35 minus 23 is 12. Okay, so 1956 divided by 12 new customers, $163 NCAC, $120 cheaper than our global average NCAC.
Jeez. That is fantastic.
Beautiful. So are you a doctor's office that is selling all on 4 versus x-rays? Well, you have ads for both. What do you want more of? I want more x-rays. Develop a new campaign with just x-rays, crank it with a spend. The main campaign has to target the users you're bringing into the pixel with the other campaign on the ads that they were brought in from. They share the same ads.
Okay. I have questions.
Yes.
First off, I've never noticed this with this business, and obviously we know this business extraordinarily well. Dogs versus cats, does it matter? Has it ever? Different creative, like, because I never realized there was. I always sort of figured this was just more on the dog side, but like, how do you break that down?
Yeah, cats is actually a lot of UGC. So the way that we market ourselves is slightly different than every other company because we actually focus on the CTRs of all rather than the CTRs of link clicks. CTRs of all rather than the CTRs of link clicks because we want to identify what is the users being educated on. We have to go through a 2-step process to actually sell our products well, which is
explain to people what that means. I know what it means, but all clicks versus link clicks.
Yep. And so I'm just going to do a sort descending by spend. Let me turn off the comparison. Let me just get a little bit organized here since the 16th to the 4th of work. I was missing it last day. So then we got amount spend sorting descending. All right. So let's do this. Let me actually take my column of amount spent, and I'm going to move that upwards a bit so that we can see how this actually works. So in our campaigns, I have to tell you about a story about how a dog came back to life and how they are happy and healthy and youthful and vibrant. And then I'll tell you why. That seems to work better. It's a kind of my mini funnel where it's almost like a Wally Fat People of an advertorial. That's exactly all I'm doing is a Wally Fat People advertorial. Instead of you going to a blog and reading it, I'm basically just showcasing it in front of your face.
Putting it in front of me in my newsfeed. Yeah,
exactly.
So that is a click.
That right there,
you
exactly
just
right. And that's what I was going to say is this right here is when I look at this here, I see the dog. That's not an ad. That's a story. You click see more and you read how it's a 21-year-old dog and how it's helped so much. These are real stories from real customers, and that's the actual dog's name. So that actually is Gina. So what's nice about this is what we've noticed is, look at this. When we have non-product, I'll just do this. UGC, good click-through rate. Product ad, not that great. We have a story about Gina, good click-through rate. You want to see the product here? Not so great. You want to see just the product? Not so great. What about Suzanne? Oh, I want to know about Suzanne. What about Brenda? Let's hear about Brenda. What about Cindy? Cindy actually has a great click-through rate. Why? Well, because in her story, Cindy actually has a before and after that the client took for us, and we're really happy about that. Wow. So now we know Cindy, the before and after. Look at those click-through rates now. So when we look at this thing, we have to do this. Let me tell you the story about Paul. Paul is a dog sleeping on the couch. That sucks at 2% link click, but really good with 11. And then we follow up with this is the product that did it. This is the product that did this. And then later on, like when you go down lower and lower and lower, you see a lot more product ads, and then you get a lot better, kind of CPAs and results on those. But you can see that each time we showcase a story about a nice dog, they want to learn, but they're not really ready to buy just yet.
Yep. Step 1, step 2.
Exactly right. So very simplistic. So that's when we saw that when we changed this over to this model here, that's when now we have an average click-through rate on a story of 11.1, which is very, very good. And then this actually also increased our click-through rate from about 1.8 to 2.8. So our link click-through rate's not that great, but I measure activity off of how much are we educating a user based on creative, how much are we spending on that, and is that model working well? So it's a little bit different than kind of your standard media buyer, but we still use click-through rates for engagement.